this video, I'm going to show you how to play that riff from Mark Ronson's Bang Bang Bang. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to do some harmonic analysis. So if you just want to play the riff, you can just watch the first half of the video, or you can click the link below, which will take you to a free PDF of the score. Or if you just want to study the chords, you can jump to the second half of this video. So we're starting with how to play the riff. Let's start with the left hand. Left hand has 6 bass notes. We're going to split them into 2 groups of 3. So first group of 3, we have 5th finger on G, 2nd on D, and then 4th on B flat. So I'm leaving out the repetitions for the moment. I'm just showing you what the 6 bass notes are. That's the first 3. And then next set of 3 are 2nd on E flat, thumb on F, and then 3rd on C. So first 3 are G, D, B flat. The next 3 are E flat, F, C. And then in the right hand, you're basically building a major triad on top of all of those bass notes. And the major triads are in different inversions. So you'll need to know your triads pretty well for this bit. So starting with G, we have a G major triad in second inversion in the right hand. Then on D, we have a D major triad in root position. And then on B flat, we have a B flat major triad in first inversion. So that's the first 3 chords. Again, I'm missing out the repetitions for the time being. So if you're learning this from the video rather than from the score, pause it and learn these 3 chords before you continue. Then in the second half, we have E flat. And the right hand has a root position triad on E flat. Then on F, we have a second inversion F major triad in the right hand. And then on C, we have a root position C triad in the right hand. It's the second half, which kind of sounds like, sounds a bit like green onions. Anyway, it's the second half. So putting those 2 groups of 3 together, we have first group of 3, second group of 3. And then once you've practiced those and nailed them, you can then put in the repetitions. And they basically go 3, 3, 2 for each group of 3. So I'll show you what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. First half. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And that just repeats. So that's easier to get from the score. Probably you can write in the beats and work out where the chords go. Also, the score has the fingering as well. I didn't go over the fingering in the right hand, but you can get that off the score. So then once you can play the riff, you then just need to get it up to speed. So this track's around 93 BPM, so it's fairly fast. That's how you play the riff. So now let's look at the chords a little bit, and this will be mostly of interest, I imagine, to people who are producing their own tracks and want to work out how to get this sound. So I already mentioned that we basically have a major triad on every single bass note. So we have these 6 major triads. But why these particular 6 rather than some other group of 6 major triads? Well, if we go through them one by one, okay, we're starting with a G major triad, and then we have a D major triad. Both of those major triads fit in the G major scale. And also the very last triad we have, a C major triad, also fits in the G major scale. So if we actually number the chords we get in G major, G is chord 1. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. C major is chord 4. And then D major is chord 5. So if we look at the first, second, and then 6th chord in this whole sequence, we end up with G, C, and D, which are chords 1, 4, and 5 in G major. So you need to know your scale theory reasonably well to follow this. Importantly, even though the chords are changing, so the roots are changing, the scale is staying the same for those 3 chords. So the actual tonic, which is the home note of a scale rather than the home note of a chord, the tonic staying the same for those three chords. Chords 1, 4, and 5 in G major. So then in the riff, when we get here, when we get to this B flat major chord, that is outside of the G major scale. We don't get B flats in G major. And then we have B flat, E flat, and F. And all three of those chords, B flat, E flat, and F, are all in the B flat major scale. And again, if we work out where they fall in the scale, B flat is chord 1, 2, 3, 4, E flat is chord 4, and then F is chord 5. So we have chords 1, 4, and 5 in B flat major. And, then we're on to C again. So after that point, when we hit C, we're back into the G major scale. So if we analyze the riff from a scale point of view, we're in G major here and here. Then we switch to B flat major, stay in B flat major scale, and then we switch back to G major when we hit that C chord. So the whole thing is using two different scales. G major scale, and then a B flat major scale. And in both cases, it's using chords 1, 4, and 5 in G major, and then 1, 4, and 5 in B flat major. So the last thing to cover is how does B flat major relate to G major? Well, G major has one sharp, F sharp, and if we then go through the circle of fifths flatwards, so G has one sharp, go down a fifth, C major has no sharps or flats. Kind of hard to play with a microphone in the way. Usually find it easier playing a C major scale. C has no sharps or flats, go down another fifth. F major has one flat, which is B flat. Whoops. And then down a fifth again from F gets us to B flat major. B flat major has two flats, has B flat and E flat. And that's just B flat repeating up an octave. So going from G major with one sharp to B flat major with two flats, we're going down 3 steps in the circle of fifths. So G has one sharp, C has no sharps or flats, F has one flat, and then B flat major has two flats. So if you're picturing a circle of fifths as a clock, we're going like a whole quarter of an hour round the clock to get from G major to B flat major. So hopefully that explains a little bit how that riff gets its sound. It's got that kind of bright sound because every single chord is a major chord. But then it has that slightly sort of futuristic sound, which is matched in the video, which comes from the fact that Mark Ronson is kind of juxtaposing these two scales, which are really pretty far apart. They're 3 steps apart on the circle of fifths. So you get this pretty jarring switch from this D to this B flat chord. And then also like getting the E flat of the E flat major with the E natural of the C chord quite close together is kind of jarring as well. So yeah, if you play around with major chords in different scales, then you'll get a bang, bang, bang kind of sound in your track.